name of Allah and Ali, Islam to all. Join the MST. You should hear about birthrights and nationality, for you are not Negroes or what you claim to be. In the name of Allah and Ali, Islam to all. Join the MST. You should hear about birthrights and nationality, for you are not Negroes or what you claim to be. Learn your foreparents' ancient divine creed. Since 1913 I've been planting the seeds. Enemies planted, agents, I had to leave. I know it was abrupt, but bear with me.
Welcome, I'm glad everybody was able to make it here safe. We know why we're here. We'll just do a short introduction for our guest, and Dr. Jose Pimienta Bey. But before we introduce him, we have some basic, you would call it a protocol that we do every meeting or every lecture or every event. For those of you who are used to coming to events, you're kind of used to what we do. My name is Adisa Hannibal. I am Grand Mufti, so my job is to let everybody know and be aware of their present situation. North, south, east, and west. In a case of an emergency, you contact the brother in the back with the blue daishiki, myself, and there's a brother in a white shirt who will be also posted up in the back. If there's any emergencies, any concerns, any complaints, or anything, you need any assistance at all, that is our duty. We represent the Mufti force. If you break it down, Moorish United Front towards Islam, from our perspective. And as every society, every nation, and every group has their own security, this is our security. Bathurst Street runs along the north and south direction on the east side of this building. You have an east entrance and a west entrance. God forbid that there is a case of emergency. You have 20 steps from where I'm standing to the east entrance and about 10 steps to the west entrance. Since we do not have our own hospitals yet, the closest hospital we have is at 20 Elizabeth Street. That would be if you go east on Bloor, go south on Spadina, and you get to, you go south on University, and it's right near College and University on the street called Isabella, which is 1 block east. If that is not appropriate for you, 600 Avenue Road West, which is east on Bloor, and then south on Avenue for about 1 block. Until we get our own hospitals, God forbid, this is where you need to go if anything is to happen today. As we protect ourselves physically, it's always necessary for us as a people to protect ourselves spiritually. We have many formats and many different ways of doing it. The Honorable Prophet Drew Ali laid down a specific foundation. We are going to carry that out, so if I can ask everybody to rise as we go through a prayer or affirmation together. If we can stand with 5 on the left and 2 on the right. You can repeat after me. Allah, the mother and father of the universe.
Allah, the mother and father of the universe.
The mother and father of love.
Mother and father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is our protector.
Allah is our protector.
Our guide. And our salvation. By night. And by day. Through her and his holy prophet. Noble Drew Ali. Islam. Hotep. Amen. Ashe. All right, thank you. Please have a seat. Now we're not going to go too much further. We want to get into this lecture really quick, but by order of Drew Ali, to be proclaimed in every meeting. Dated March 18th, 1929. I will go through it really quick. Before I go through it, I have one word of advice. Get your pens, your pads out, and get ready to ask for questions. Turn off the cell phones if you have any, or at least put it on vibrate. If you haven't donated your $20 notes, please donate it to our Cujo, who's standing by the camera right now. And again, questions and comments are always welcome. However, by request of the format that Dr. Bey wants to go by, can we leave them to the end? Because we will have a question period. And please give it to him, okay? He's traveled a long way, so let's give him the best experience we can. Islam?
Islam.
All right.
Thank you, brother.
Islam, I am glad to know that I have few faithful Moors among you, and all I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There was a host of jealousy about me in the movement now by the same people on our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have noticed all these things to you long ago in the past. Repeat, I have notified all these things to you long in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement of uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without either prophet being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the last few days. Islam?
Islam.
Thank you. I'd like you to show a warm appreciation for our Grand Sheikh, Temple number 5, Moorish Divine National Movement, Moorish Order of the Round Table, all that good stuff. Grand Sheikh Kujo Adwa El.
Once again, I'm Kujo Adwa El. If you could again give yourself a round of applause for being real about your birthrights. I was sitting down and I just wrote up a little something so we could introduce Dr. Bey for today. So political sorcery is and was used by the colonial inquisitionist nations to remove the political birthright of the Moors of Northwest Amexem, Africa, America. In 1913, Prophet Noble Drew Ali stepped on the Roman seal by teaching the subjugated Moors the truth and the divine truth about their nationality and birthrights. Law governs all events, and under political sorcery, law is hidden in history, and history is now used to govern all events in an attempt to hide the foundation of law. This, where we're having this presentation today, is not a democracy. This is a republic. And Canada Republic is mentioned in Article 11 of the Articles of Confederation of 1781. And its constitution is the Constitution of the United States of America Republic. And if you go to Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, it would tell you that this is a republic. Republic comes from Latin res publica, which means a public affair. So in a republic, the people are the government. And the people are connected to the history, and because the people are connected to the history, they are the law. It just depends on what history perspective you're looking at things. Right? Noble Drew Ali had a paper called the Moorish Guide, and in that paper he had a writing where he explained that the Moors need their own papers because nobody's going to tell the story about the Moors unless it's the Moors. He said papers, but he was really talking about literature, like books, right? Newspapers, pamphlets, little handouts that tell you something literal, so that they can have it as proof to go show somebody else, right? So in the book called Behold a Pale Horse, William Cooper, this is This is the second page of the book. Oh, and in the paper, Noble Drawley was talking about us having to shovel ourselves out of the avalanche of lies that's bestowed upon us all the time. So we needed our own paper so we can tell the truth about ourselves, because there's a lot of people not telling the truth about us, the Moors, and our impact on world history. One basic truth can be used as a foundation for a mountain of lies. And if we dig down deep enough in the mountain of lies and bring out that truth to set it on top of the mountain of lies, the entire mountain of lies will crumble under the weight of that one truth. And there is nothing more devastating to a structure of lies than the revelation of truth upon which the structure of lies was built. Because the shockwaves of the revelation of truth reverberate and continue to reverberate through the earth for generations to follow, awakening even those who had no desire to be awakened to the truth. And that's Delamar Deverus. Delamer Duverus. So the perspective or the idea about today is truth, and we would ask if you could please stand and welcome the brother. He came from a long way to be with his family. And if you've seen lectures with Dr. Bey, you've never seen him in his fez before. So there's a certain degree of knowledge that we're going to be going into today with regard to him being here. This is not one of those lectures from YouTube. That's the guy right there. Or that's the Moor right there.
Yes.
Right? So please welcome with a round of a hand, Dr. Jose Pimienta Bey.
Islam. I am very glad to have the opportunity. Is this still on? Can you still hear me?
Probably put it
have
up
this
a bit.
opportunity to come and speak and share a little bit of knowledge with you about Moorish legacy and history. Most of the videos that have made their way to YouTube are videos that I gave at places that were not rooted in Moorish understanding. And one of the conversations I had with the good Moors last night driving over here was a conversation I had with somebody named Naeem Akbar not too long ago. I don't know if anyone here is familiar with Dr. Naeem Akbar.
Yeah.
But years ago, he had talked about going to speak about aspects of mental health. And he was talking about mental health in the black community or the African community. And he was saying that when he would wear his attire, if he wore African attire, people tended not to hear what he was saying. Now, that's a different situation for those who have a degree of consciousness, of course, because then it's not, the same blockage isn't there. And so his thing was, if you're going to speak someplace and you don't know what you're stepping into, it's best to go in the attire, if you will, that corresponds to the level of consciousness that people have. Otherwise, just back people off. They don't know, they're not listening to really what you're saying. So essentially, knowing something about your audience, knowing something about the basics of human psychology. I am a professor of African and African American studies, history, and general studies at a college in Kentucky called Berea College. And Berea College was established with a basic principle in 1855 that is actually rooted in a Christian maxim, a Christian creed, which was, of one blood, God made all the peoples of the earth.